smartphone market is seeing a boom in the affordable smartphones category with launches coming in at lightning speed from various companies. Realme is one of the companies at the forefront of this massive influx of budget smartphones in the Indian market, with several releases in 2021 alone. We have right here the newly launched Realme Narzo 30 5G, a 5G-enabled budget smartphone that is eerily similar to the Realme 8 5G that released just a couple of months ago. The launch of the Realme 30 5G in the Indian market is a surprising one, since it basically almost has the same specs and features as the Realme 8 5G. The question that needs to be answered is if both of these phones have their own place in the Indian market, or if the newly launched Realme Narzo 30 5G is just competing with or perhaps eclipsing its own brethren. Hey, I'm Dhriti from Digit, and in this video, we will be delving into the detailed review of the Realme Narzo 30 5G. Before we get into the review, remember to hit the subscribe button if you haven't already and press the bell icon to get notified about future videos. Now, let's get right into it. Much like the Realme 8 5G, the Realme Narzo 30 5G is powered by the MediaTek Dimensity 700 SoC that is based on the 7nm process. The chipset features two ARM Cortex-A76 performance cores clocked at 2.2 GHz and six ARM Cortex-A55 efficiency cores clocked at 2 GHz. For graphics, the Dimensity 700 chipset comes with the Mali G57 GPU. You get 6GB LPDDR4X RAM and 128GB UFS 2.1 storage. This is one of the few differences between the Realme 8 5G and the Narzo 30 5G, where the former comes with 4 or 8GB of RAM, while the latter has a fixed 6GB of RAM. You also get RAM expansion technology, where internal storage or ROM gets converted into VRAM or virtual RAM. Users can choose between 2GB, 3GB or 5GB VRAM. The Realme Narzo 30 5G supports various 5G standalone and non-standalone bands and has 5G dual SIM dual standby. The phone houses a 5000 mAh battery with support for 18W fast charging, which is the same as the Realme 8 5G. Something to note is that the 4G variant of the Realme Narzo 30 comes with 30W fast charging support. Moving on to the display, the Realme Narzo 30 5G houses a 6.5-inch IPS LCD panel with Full HD Plus resolution and 90Hz refresh rate. The Realme 8 5G comes equipped with a triple camera setup consisting of a 48MP primary lens, a 2MP portrait lens, and a 2MP macro shooter. For selfies, you have a 16MP selfie camera. This is the exact same camera setup as seen on the Realme 8 5G. The Realme Narzo 30 5G runs Realme UI 2.0 based on Android 11. So when it comes to hardware, the Realme Narzo 30 5G and the Realme 8 5G are almost identical. We spoke to Realme about the similarities and were told that while the hardware is almost the same, the phones are positioned differently. The Realme Narzo 30 5G is more performance focused, while the Realme 8 5G is positioned as a phone for the youth, so it focuses on the camera, display and battery. Nevertheless, when both phones have all the same hardware except for the RAM, it's hard to see why they're positioned differently. The Realme Narzo 30 5G is a sleek, good-looking 5G smartphone. The device is pretty lightweight for a 5G device, weighing merely 185 grams and isn't too thick either at 8.5 mm. The rear panel is made out of polycarbonate and features a glossy texture which ends up being a fingerprint and dust magnet. The back panel has a pretty striking design with a raceway pattern strip that reflects light. There's a pretty simple Narzo logo at the bottom of this strip. The back also houses the rectangular camera island that juts out only slightly. While the phone felt good in hand, we preferred to use it with the silicone case provided in the box to prevent having a fingerprint mess at the back of the device. The phone comes in two colors, Racing Silver and Racing Blue, both of which look pretty impressive for the price. The Realme Narzo 30 5G houses the power button on the right side of the device. This button also doubles as a fingerprint sensor. The sensor's response is impressive and the button itself is very tactile. On the left, you have the volume buttons and the SIM tray. The tray can house 2 nano SIMs and a microSD card, expandable up to 1 TB. It's disappointing to see the lack of dual stereo speakers on the phone, since competitors such as the Redmi Note 10s come equipped with it. While the audio input of the device is decently loud, stereo speakers would have cranked up the auditory immersiveness while watching content or gaming. Moving on to the display, the Realme Narzo 35G comes packing a 6.5-inch display with full HD Plus resolution and 90Hz refresh rate support. The fast refresh rate ensures that scrolling and flicking between apps appears buttery smooth. There's also adaptive refresh rate support, where the display selects the adequate refresh rate for the app and applies it. This goes a long way in conserving battery. The panel also has a punch hole cutout for the selfie camera on the left side of the screen. The panel's output is vivid and crisp, however, it is not the most color accurate. Also, the readability of the display goes down in harsh sunlight, since the max brightness in our tests was only 276 nits. The phone houses the MediaTek Dimensity 700 SoC, the same chipset used in the Realme 8 5G that impressed us with its commendable performance. This is paired alongside 6GB RAM and 128GB storage. In our benchmarking tests, the Realme Narzo 35G delivered outstanding results for the price. The phone clearly outshone both the Redmi Note 10 and the Redmi Note 10s in most benchmarks. In AnTuTu, the Narzo 35G beat the Note 10s by a decent margin, while absolutely decimating the Redmi Note 10. In Geekbench 5, the Realme Narzo 35G scored 569 in the single-core test and 1777 in the multi-core test, easily outshining both the Note 10 and Note 10s again. The phone scored 11,515 in PCMark work, leaving both the Note 10 and Note 10s behind considerably. These benchmarks, however, should be taken with a grain of salt, since MediaTek SoCs are sometimes linked with boosting performance for benchmarking tests. Moving on to the GPU performance, the Realme Narzo 35G delivered convincing results yet again. The phone beat out both the Redmi Note 10 and 10s in 3D Mark Wildlife. However, in GFX Bench, the Redmi Note 10s managed to beat the Narzo 35G in all the tests we ran. We also played Call of Duty Mobile for our gaming test, where the Narzo 35G recorded an average FPS of 60 running at 91% stability. The Redmi Note 10s showed similar results, but the regular Note 10 lagged behind with an average FPS of 48 at 58% stability. Benchmarks aside, the Narzo 35G does swimmingly when it comes to mobile gaming. The gameplay was super smooth with no signs of lag or stutter whatsoever. The device did heat up slightly during gaming, but it's manageable. When it comes to using the phone for day-to-day tasks, it rarely falters. Performing basic tasks such as calling, texting, browsing the web and social media happens without any hitches, and multitasking is a smooth affair as well. You can keep several apps running in the background and switch between them effortlessly. The phone also appears snappier due to the 90Hz refresh rate. All the games we played ran smoothly, so the phone is something we definitely recommend to a mobile gamer. Even if you're not into mobile gaming, the phone's performance is reliable for almost anything you throw at it. The software isn't our favorite though, since it is loaded with bloatware. While Realme UI looks pretty clean, it comes with a plethora of third-party pre-installed apps such as Amazon Music, Booking.com, Duo, Netflix, Soloop, and others. There are also numerous Realme apps pre-installed on the device. On the customization front, there's a lot you can do within the settings of the device. So if you like tinkering with your phone's looks and abilities, you will be happy with the options Realme UI provides. The Realme Narzo 35G houses the exact same camera setup as the Realme 8 5G. The camera setup is headlined by the Samsung GM1 48MP sensor alongside a 2MP portrait lens and a 2MP macro shooter. The phone misses out on an ultra-wide camera which is present in competitors such as the Redmi Note 10s. You also get a 16-megapixel selfie camera on the front. Despite the Narzo 35G and the Realme 8 5G housing the exact same primary lens, our experience with both cameras were different. The Realme 8 5G didn't have the best dynamic range, with shadows being crushed and detail being absent even in daylight shots. This was not the case with the Narzo 35G, and the dynamic range was significantly better. It's still not the best we've seen in this segment, but it's a considerable improvement. Realme told us that this was the result of software optimizations for the camera. The primary camera also produces good color and detail overall, making it a pretty capable shooter in daylight. However, in photos with tricky lighting, the camera still struggles at times. Close-up shots in daylight look detailed and crisp with a decent amount of natural blur. Portrait mode shots are not the best though, with poor edge detection, unnecessary smoothing of textures, and slightly inaccurate color. In low-light photography, the performance is decent. There is some noise in the shots and the camera does struggle to lock focus on subjects at times. Realme's Nightscape mode does a decent job at brightening up shots and returning some amount of detail. The macro lens on the phone is pretty decent, but it doesn't take good shots consistently. This is largely since the lens struggles to lock focus on subjects. The 16-megapixel selfie camera shoots good selfies with ample detail. However, be sure to turn off the beauty filters before using the selfie camera. The filters aggressively alter your face's shape and tone, so if you like natural images, it's best to turn off beauty mode. Moving on to video, you get pretty decent video output in daylight. However, there's no stabilization, so they suffer from shake when you're walking or running. Low-light videos are not up to the mark since they have quite a bit of noise and lack detail. The Realme Narzo 35G houses a massive 5000 mAh battery that performs decently well. Phone houses a 90Hz refresh rate display that cuts down battery life considerably if kept on at all times. However, if you use adaptive refresh rate or default to 60Hz, you're looking at a phone that can easily last more than a day with moderate usage and a full day with heavy usage. In our test, streaming Netflix for half an hour drained the battery by merely 5%, and 15 minutes of Call of Duty Mobile brought it down by only 4%. Phone supports 18-watt fast charging, which is slightly underwhelming. The phone took about 2 hours and 10 minutes to charge from 0 to 100%, so it's definitely not the fastest in this price segment. There's no denying the sheer power of the Realme Narzo 35G when it comes to performance. Whether you're a light user or an avid gamer, the phone will keep up with almost anything you throw at it. The phone also houses a massive battery, comes with fast refresh rate support and 5G connectivity, making it a lucrative offering at this price point. However, the phone is clearly a clone of the Realme 8 5G with some extra RAM thrown in. It is downright confusing why Realme chose to release this phone in India when it could just be a fourth storage variant of the Realme 8 5G. Nevertheless, if you're looking for a budget 5G smartphone, the Narzo 35G is a great all-rounder at a compelling price. If you're looking for the same phone but with different storage configurations, just go for the Realme 8 5G since it is essentially the same device. Thank you so much for watching this review.